Hello everyone, Kevin back here with another video, and I know I'm a little bit late, so follow up with the update, but today we are going to start our series on Project Zomboid. Now for this first video I'm just going to be doing a quick explanation on what trades we're taking, what town we're spawning in, and what role we're taking. So I already have myself set, so it's going to be the YT build. So I'm going to explain exactly why I did each setting, and then after that we will start our first day in whatever town we select. So first and foremost, I'm keeping default for the day length at 1 hour and 30 minutes as the new update on 42 is set. Well, since the apocalypse will be 0, as it should be, we're not doing any special challenges today, which we'll be looking into those at a later point. We'll start in July. Now, I choose these two settings because I have so for example, I have OCD, so I like to start, I'm very particular on how I want to start. So, the actual day of the month, as far as I know, it doesn't matter unless you play with certain mods and whatnot. So we're going to start on day 1, and we're going to start at midnight, so I can catch an extra, so there is a correction, not really an extra one, but if you start at the default date of 9 AM, you will miss the cook show, I believe. Unless I'm mistaken, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong. But we're going to start at midnight, and on day 1 of July with 1 hour and 30 minutes. Alright, so for the zombies, this might be a little controversial, but I'm more of a casual gamer. I don't like doing all these like shamblers, fast shamblers, or sprinter runs. I think it's oversaturated, and I think just doing a casual run that has it's gonna be a lot of fun and chaos. I think it'll be interesting to do. So we're gonna do shamblers, so they're gonna be kind of like how zombies would be. Hopefully in real life, if that was ever the case, it will be just slow shamblers, but they'll be difficult to take down in groups. So random sprinter amount, obviously we're doing none. Strength, I'm going to keep as normal. Toughness, I'm going to keep as normal as well. I was a big fan of Build 41's decision on basically making, I guess, more or less the same. I don't mind doing that. Transmission, I'm going to keep on blood and saliva, so the 7% scratch and the 25% laceration will still take effect. Infection morality will be 2 to 3 days, of course. It's the default setting. I'm keeping everything basically default with these 4 anyways, so the kind of cognition and the reanimation time. So crawl under vehicles is going to be another controversial one for some people, so for some hardcore players. I'm going to keep it on crawlers only, so basically the only way they're going to be able to crawl is if I cripple them, or they spawn that way, which I've yet to see one that's spawned as a crawler. Maybe it's possible, I don't know, but alright, so memory is going to be at normal as a default setting. So I actually set sight and hearing to normal each for both of them, just like it was in 41 instead of like the random between normal and poor. I want to give the zombies a fair chance because when I explain my build, it's gonna be pretty strong, and I have over 1,000 hours in this game, so I kind of have a good understanding of how to do safe decisions. But anyways, so we're gonna keep the new stealth system, of course. I like the new stealth system. Basically you can sneak around zombies a lot better now. Hide behind cars, hide behind buildings, and generally they won't see you nearly as much. Environmental attacks I'm going to keep off as a default setting. Zombies can they can destroy player constructions and defenses, which I'm pretty sure that counts as like if you would, maybe like move like a refrigerator to block off a gated area or something like that. I'm not too sure what that actually means besides the actual constructions. Anyway, so day and night zombie effect speed, it's going to be on both as the default, so it doesn't really matter if it's daytime or nighttime, they're still going to act largely the same. I did put on zombie house alarm triggering, which I might turn on for the time of this video. By the time the first actual video comes out, because I'm going to so exactly tomorrow I'm going to release episode 1, where we picked, where I will be explaining where I picked the town after we're done doing the sandbox option review. Actually, I think we're going to turn that off now, just because that does make things a little harder on me, so let's go ahead and just keep that off. I'm turning off drag down, zombie lunge, and crawl drag down, just because I don't like the idea of a zombie basically lunging at you, like, because I know as we're playing unstable, sometimes the game glitches out and it doesn't let you stomp on them or hit them for some reason, and you can get infected just because of a poor RNG effect. But I'm gonna keep those off for now. Maybe we'll turn them back on in a later run or something like that when I start doing some challenges for the game. Alright, fake zombie death animations. I'm actually going to turn this off to never. I don't like the idea of fake zombies. Basically, alright. I'll keep it a $1.50. I'm a pansy. I get scared easy, which I'll still get plenty scared probably from like zombies hiding in closets and whatnot. So we'll go ahead and turn that off. So for these settings down here for the zombie armor and stuff like that, I'm gonna keep them on default. Fall damage, which I don't know too much about that. I've never been in a building on Project Zomboid that's more than like 3/4. Excuse me. Player spawn area is going to be on default, so zombies cannot spawn inside the building or, I want to say, around it. So like they can spawn across the street basically, but they can't spawn inside the building or like on a front yard if you spawn in like a house or something. Okay, population multiplayer time. We're going to keep it on normal for the multiplayer, normal for the start, and then on high for peak. Then peak day is going to be 28. So respawn hours, what I did, I'm going to put it at the max, so it'll be basically from July 1st of the first year to the second year if we make it that far. And then largely I'm going to keep all these the same. I don't know too much about some of these, like the zombie count before deletion. I don't know much about that. I know about the rally sites and whatnot. I'm gonna keep those groups at the same, follow distance, all that fun stuff. All right, so we're gonna go to loot now. So hours for respawn, we're gonna keep all that at 0. I'm gonna keep that at 0 as well because that doesn't really affect anything. So construction prevents loot respawn, so we're going to keep that on because whatever building I spawn in, I'm probably going to make at least my temporary base to start the game anyways. Alright, so maximum looted chance, I'm actually going to put that to none because I don't like the idea of going into a building that should be full of loot, but should have some loot in it, and then it ends up having nothing. So like, we're gonna keep that off because I don't really like the idea of that. It's kind of why I have this set at 3,650, just so basically it would take like 20 years for that to actually happen. So rural building gonna be similar to what the first setting was. We're gonna have it set to none, just because I don't really like the idea of not having something like that done. Maximum looted buildings. So we're gonna do. So this will basically make it so like any like super large building will not be fully looted. So like any like skyscrapers, big police stations, military places, stuff like that. Alright, so these were new. They added customs, which, so just for reference, so back in the day, Raider used to be 0.4. So I'm gonna turn that back to custom. I'm gonna leave all these settings the same because I like what they've done in Build 42 or Build 41, especially if like you looted like police stations and whatnot. You wouldn't find a lot of guns, ammunition, or like police clothing, which made no sense to me because it's so like so when the game actually starts, it's a week after the zombie apocalypse. people are already turned and whatnot, so that wouldn't make a whole lot of sense for every single place to be like just derelict and just empty. So I'm gonna keep it like that. Alright, generator spawns, I'm gonna keep on rare as the default settings. All this stuff I'm gonna keep on the same because I've never touched any of this stuff, so I'm gonna leave that alone. Alright, so world settings now. I am gonna set water and electricity to 31 days exactly, so once it hits August 1st in the game, the power and water will go out and I will have to fend for myself at that point. And so these settings I'm gonna ignore. And alarm battery decay, I'm not sure how long that actually takes. Oh, but that is totally fine. Still trying to wake up, so I apologize for the constant yawning. Okay, house alarms, everyone's favorite thing in Project Zomboid. I'm gonna keep it on extremely alert rare because I feel like sometimes it sets off every other house. Rare, I don't feel like changes much. Extremely rare gives me at least an opportunity to at least loot a couple buildings before I eventually run into a bad building, but it sets off an alarm. But it's basically gonna bring hundreds of zombies to that location. Alright, locked houses, I'm gonna keep them. It's the default setting very often. Fire spread will be on. Generator working exterior will be fine. I'm gonna leave all that stuff alone. We're not gonna have infinite gas pumps. However, I will set the initial minimum maximum gas pump amount to full, so every gas station in the game will be full, ready to go for use. Which I think that's more than fair, given I don't want to go to like, so like, okay, for example, let's say I pick Rosewood. There's only one gas station in Rosewood, I believe. Or correction, there's two. There's one outside of town and there's one in the actual town itself. So like, if I go to both of them that are empty, then I'm just screwed basically, because unless I find gas in cars, basically that's the only way I'll be able to feasibly last. So I'm gonna keep that on full, and initial gas pump empty chance is gonna be on 0 because I don't want to take any chances with that. All right, light bulb lifespan is gonna be basically default. I'm not sure. I don't use the I don't use the lamps and stuff, so I wouldn't know anything about that. Because I just use light switches and then the headlights for the cars, so that will never affect us. That's fine. All right, I'm going to leave all this basically the same. Food supply should be normal. Refrigeration effectiveness will be at normal as well. Rotten food removal will be a -1. So basically, rotten food will never be removed, which is good for farming or agriculture, as they like to call it now in Build 42. World item removal list, I'm going to keep the same. So basically any hats, glasses, and maggots, slugs, and yeah, it looks like, yeah, basically anything that's like kind of just useless stuff. Just if it falls on the ground, we will not be taking it. It'll be deleted after 24 hours. Basement spawn frequencies so at random locations anyways, I'm gonna keep it sometimes, and then the maximum amount of hours of fuel for a camp and fire stove. I'm gonna keep this at 24 actually. So 24 hours that you can basically light a campfire, which I have never used a campfire or wooden stove in this game, so I don't really know too much about it. I've actually never seen a wooden stove actually, so I'm not sure how that works, but we'll keep it 24 hours just for the safe side. Alright, onto the nature side of things. Darkness during night is going to be normal, temperature will be normal, rain will be normal, maximum fog intensity will be normal, maximum rain intensity will be normal. Erosion days, I'm going to set to 200 days. So that's roughly that's about 6.5 months from when the game starts. So like mid to end January in game is when it'll be fully eroded. Farming speed, I'm going to keep it default. Compost will be 2 weeks. Fishing nature plant will be all at normal. Farming abundance will also be at normal. So, crops grown inside a building with no natural sunlight or water will shrivel up and die, basically. I will have the plant growing seasons on to make it a little bit more fair for farmers. So that I can't basically just farm whatever I want during the winter, which I won't be farming during the winter probably. I'll be doing a lot of like hunting or scouring, you know, the city or outside surrounding areas to the city to go grab more food, basically. Alrighty, so snow on ground will be enabled. Detained water tooltip will also be on. Max vermin index will be default. Days until maximum vermin index will be a default. And then clay will stay the same. I don't know much about clay in this game. I don't know anything about like the pottery skill or anything like that. Alright, so onto the meta stuff. So the helicopter event, everyone's also favorite event in this game. I've only having to trigger it once. The actual meta events, so like gunshots, random gunshots, random screams, or just random event noises will still be on normal as like default. The sleeping event I'm gonna keep on never, just because I don't really like the idea of waking up in a nightmare. Because it's not gonna help for when I explain my build. So it's not very good. Not very good for nightmare sleep, anyways. Alright, randomize. I'm gonna change out to randomize like story, all the like storied building zones and like and vehicle story basically. They're all gonna be on extremely rare because I have noticed when I played on rare, like they're like on like every block and whatnot. And I'm a very simple Zomboid user. I do things a certain way. Same thing with annotated maps. I'm gonna have on extremely rare, so I don't know where whatnot. Alright, so time for corruption removal is going to be on 216 hours. So that is roughly, I want to say that's like roughly like 10 days after you kill a zombie. Alright, decaying corpse health effects. I'm going to keep on normal. So basically, if I sit in an area with a bunch of dead zombies, and if I don't get rid of the bodies and whatnot, or if I just like kind of am in the general area of them, it is going to make my character feel sick, and then if I stay for too long, obviously I will get corpse sickness, and then we will get infected. I believe you can get infected that way, or you just die of like a bad illness, anyways. Alright, zombie health impact, I'm gonna keep on 0. Living, basically, any like zombies that are walking around ain't gonna really affect that part. Blood level, I'm gonna keep on normal. Blood spav light fan days is gonna be on 0. So there will always be blood unless rain washes it away, which so corpse maggots spawns will be in body only. The media list meta, which will be shown as question marks. So I will know what books I haven't read, what books I have read, some VHSs, and so on and so forth. Day and night cycle will be normal, client cycle will be normal, fog cycle will be normal. I'm going to keep all this the same, so as long as the damage fences, it will take 50 to basically bring down a fence. And I'll keep the default on that, allow world, we're going to allow the mini-map as well. And the way what we need to do. Alright, onto character now. Stat decrease will be normal, so we'll carry weight or hunger first and whatnot. Endurance regeneration will be also nutrition system will be on, so we have to watch our weight every time we eat. Which I have a hard time sometimes, so I might struggle with that. I'm going to keep the starter kit off. I do run the starter kit when I do my single player runs. I threw my caps in my room. Alright, free trade points, I have a 0. I do put points on like my single player runs just because I don't typically do negative perks unless I'm doing multiplayer on 41, or if, you know, I'm doing some kind of like special challenge and I want to make it a little harder on myself. Alright, player build construction strengths will be normal, injury severity will be normal, bone fracture will be on as well, so like Basically, I fall out of a window, which I actually did the other night when I was playing the week 1 mod, which that was interesting. Alright, on the muscle strain, a big talking point in the and what was going on, because I know they lowered it as the default setting. Discomfort, I'm gonna put at 0.25 when wearing certain items, so like any like bulletproof vests or like any armor basically. Wound infection damage factor, I'm gonna put it at 0. Clothing degradation will be on normal as usual. There will be no black clothes, so basically there's not going to be pitch black clothing options. Rear vulnerability, I'm going to put on high. I'm gonna turn this on low. It says kind of like a casual run, so it's gonna be. I'm gonna be a lot more like more capable than what maybe like another channel would do, just basically default apocalypse settings, basically. Alright, so weapon multi-hit will also be on. Anyways, yeah, multi-hit will also be on. Firearm chance damage, the damage chance will be on, so basically the new aim system, basically. All the jams and noodles will all be the same. Firearm headgear effect, those will also be on. Melee movement description, so like we'll be slowed down whenever we're swinging or like getting ready to swing, which is the default setting. All clothing unlocked, we are not going to do that because I feel like that's kind of like a cheat mode. Like, so like, let's say you spawn as a not military, police officer. You spawn in with the bulletproof vest, like the police jacket. You spawn in with a gas mask, and digital watch, and all that fun stuff. Like, we're not doing that. We're gonna earn that. Let's go. Let's keep going down the list. I'm doing poisoning off because we're not playing multiplayer, basically. So I don't want a chance to basically put bleach into like a salad or something. Which I'm not. Any like household items I'm not gonna keep in the kitchen anyways, but just for reference. Alright, literature cooldown times. That'll be down to. We're gonna keep it at 90. So like basically any books we find, any magazines we find, we can read them once every 3 months. Every 3 months in the game. Alright, negative. I didn't know that was a thing actually. Alright, anyways, we're gonna keep this to none, just negative point traits we don't really care for. So I did change the minutes per skill book page read, so it's on 0.5, so it'll be double the time. Maximum dismantling, I'm gonna keep it at 10, because I didn't like to change to build 42, where basically after level 3 of like carpentry or like any other skill correction for like scrapping furniture, like you basically stop getting experience. I also set medium to 10 as well. Easy climbing will not be turned on because I'm going to try to preach as much fairness in this run as possible while not making it super difficult. See not known recipes. I'm going to actually turn this off just because I don't feel like I should know what I shouldn't be able to know how to create everything even if I don't have the book. So I won't even see it unless I find certain stuff. Alright, global modifier we're gonna put on ×2, just so everything goes a little bit quicker. And that'll do it for the characters. So, alright, vehicles. There will be vehicle spawns, of course. Easy use will be turned on. Recent survivor vehicles will be on low. But basically everything will be set to default. Actually, yeah, everything will be. So we're gonna move on for that one. Livestock, I will be keeping as normal as. I will keep that as normal. I think that's fair. Alright, so we're gonna get into some of the mod traits, and I will go back just to explain what mods I'll be using. So first is the desensitized trait. So basically, once I reach a certain kill amount, I will become desensitized, and panic when it comes to zombies will be nullified. Alright, vehicle repair overhaul. so the engine rebuild option will be enabled. So I am going to save this again just because I did edit a couple settings. So allow me to go back first, just to explain what mods we'll be using for this run. Okay, so obviously we're not doing the week 1 one. I'm going to make a separate video on all that stuff, which should be a pretty fun video. Alright, so obviously we're doing the desensitized for build 42. We'll be doing better generator info. So basically what this mod does, it improves the generator window, including the showing the day and hours remaining before your generator runs out of fuel. So basically it just keeps track of how much fuel time I have for that. Okay, so we're going to clean hotbar next. Basically it just makes the hotbar a lot cleaner. It's basically the weapon indicator. Notice Falcon back in 41. Alright, we have vanilla vehicle animated. So this mod basically just animates the vehicles to make it look a little more realistic when you're like, basically when you open up a hood, instead of just like basically just fiddling around your phones. I do not have any of these. I don't have these mods enabled just because I don't have the extra like mod stuff for it, and I don't really want it. Vanilla vehicles animated will disable the NASCAR headlights mod, which I haven't seen one of the NASCAR cars yet, but I guess they also want the headlights on for some reason. And then we'll disable the passive rendering, so it'll nullify some of the standing in the car basically. Okay, and then lastly we have the vehicle repair overhaul and then the salvage overhaul. The repair overhaul allows us to repair basically every part of the car. Unlike build 41 and 42 still, where you basically can repair half without the mod. And then the salvage one I'm going to keep on. Correction, I'm actually going to turn this one off, just because we don't really need that one. Oops. I'm going to set that back, and we're basically going to accept that. We're going to wait for the Lua to reset. And then after that, I'll explain what town we're going to be starting in. We will be starting in Muldrow, Kentucky, as it is my favorite town. It's my favorite town to spawn in for 3 reasons. One, they redid some of the building, which will show on the map once we get back up. Okay, so basically Muldrow is new and improved. Because they expanded a couple buildings. So for the police station, for example, right here, they made a huge police station. They redid a lot of stuff, and it looks very pretty. Actually, this is a good way to look at it. So like Muldrow, they got a medical building, they got churches, police station, a couple gas stations, motels, lumber yards over here and whatnot. So go back to that. Alright, just to make sure everything's safe. Alright, lastly, we're going to discuss our skill trees. Alright, so I decided to go with the following negative traits: thin skin, restless sleeper, fear of blood, conspicuous, prone to illness, slow heal, weak stomach, slow reader, and smoker. So basically what each of these perks will do, we'll have a higher chance of being scratched or bitten, so I have to be a little bit more careful. Basically tripling up on clothing options. Alright, restless sleeper, so we'll lose slow loss of tiredness while sleeping, so that might come in to bite us again, or maybe not. So I guess we'll stock up on vitamins basically throughout the run. Alright, fear of blood, basically if I'm bloody I get stressed. And then in multiplayer I would not be able to perform first aid on anybody. Conspicuous, it's more likely to spot by zombies, but if I'm kind of crouching around areas, they shouldn't see me too much. It's going to be more so if I'm just kind of walking around and they happen to see me in that case. Alright, prone to illness, it's more prone to disease and basically a faster rate when I get bit or scratched or something like that. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Slow healer. Basically, if I get scratched or anything, and non-zombie related injury or zombie related injury, it'll take twice as long for us to recover from those injuries, but hopefully we're not gonna get damaged too much, so it should be fine. Weak stomach, basically food illness is gonna be a problem, so basically no eating rotten food or be careful like certain stale food. Slow reaper, I just took this for the noise really. Same with smoker. We'll be on the lookout for cigarettes day one though once we get started. And then slow reader, of course, just takes a little longer to read stuff. Alright, on to the positive traits. We'll take dexter as wakeful, vehicle knowledge, fast learner, fit, stout, and handy. So allow me to explain each of those perks now. Dexterous, basically I'll be able to pick up stuff a lot faster. You know, just go a lot quicker, like item actions and whatnot. Alright, wakeful, we'll need less sleep, so hopefully that counteracts the restless sleeper. Vehicle knowledge, we will have already knowledge about the skill tree magazines for like all the standard vehicles, and then like I believe it's the commercial van, like commercial vans and trucks and whatnot. So the only thing I won't be able to know how to do would be sports cars. Alright, faster learner, pretty self-explanatory. We're gonna learn things a little bit even faster, even with the global modifier at 2. Alright, fit and stout, pretty much self-explanatory as well. I won't get tired as quick with fit, because that'll give me 7 to fitness and 7 to strength, of course. Get an extra knockback with melee weapons, and I'll be able to carry a little bit more. And then lastly, I picked handy for our final slot, which would be carpentry. +1 to carpentry, +1 to carving, +1 to maintenance, and then +1 to masonry. Alright, so with that said, that will cover this whole video. Tomorrow morning I will be releasing day 1 of our build and Molotov, of course. And thank you all for watching. My name is Kevin, and I will see you all in the next video. Have a good day.